So I'm going to talk to people on something. Let's begin this interaction with something very interesting. So this is heart-to-heart conversations. इसमें कुछ formality में रखता नहीं हूँ. And that is where I think the best of lessons come for people who actually can do something about some of these interactions. So first of all, sir, thank you so much for your time. Because I know that you are one of those first people who said yes to this conversation, because I had sent this message to maybe 10 people, 3 or 4 people were the first to come. I think you were here the first among the first. So thank you so much, sir, for this time, which you have,
maybe the others are too busy than me. That's why they have not responded.
No, they're not busy, because I have also seen one thing in life, sir. It's all a matter of priorities and thought process. I have seen the people who do a lot of things and they always say that I'm not busy at all. And I've also seen people who say that I'm always busy and they're hardly doing anything at all. I'm not saying anything against any person. What I'm saying is that I think it's all a matter of priorities. And I think many people are going to come forward. So already my calendar is booked for next 1 month, more than 1 month's time.
Very good.
So amazing.
Great.
Yeah, I also saw one thing, sir. I was going through a Facebook profile just now. And just before, just 5 minutes earlier, I had one Facebook live where I told them about the fact that I'm going to talk to you. I also shared one thought with people that I just left them with one question, which people have to ask themselves. As when was the last time they have spotted somebody doing something good, and then they gave a compliment, they asked the person to just keep on moving on, just keep it up, it's something which you're doing well. So this is a question which I have left all the audience with. I told them that I'm going to talk to somebody who actually was the first person to tell me that, Arun, I think you should do more of writing. Just keep on writing. I think you said that more than 10 years ago. Sir, I think let's start this conversation with one thing. I have seen always one thing about you, that you always encouraged youngsters. I recall, it's not only about me, of course, I'll talk about me. And I have told already people through in this Facebook Live, which I just did just 2 minutes ago. I told them that all the books which you can see in the background, these are not because of me. These are because of somebody, some people who initially told me when nobody was talking about these books, they told me, Arun, please keep writing. And I'm talking about, I think, 2010, 2009, 10, 11, 12, when I think almost 10 years ago. When all that I used to write was just little travelogues. And then I recall below each travelogue, you used to put a little comment. And I told people that today you please decide to at least give one genuine compliment to somebody. Just if you see somebody doing something good, for example, if you see some of your children doing something good, please go and give a pat on their back, because somebody gave a pat on my back. And that's how today, when I get calls from Kulu Manali and Mizoram and Kanyakumari, different parts of the country, where people say that I've got a copy of your book, which has been helping me a lot, the credit goes to Ramachandran, sir. And that is what has brought me for this conversation, sir.
But Arun, let me tell you something on this. That you really did, you really said that you need to appreciate when you see a good job. In fact, this was one of the weakness for me in the, you used to have the feedback, 360-degree feedback. Many people have written that I am shy in appreciating people. This is one feedback which had always, I tried to correct myself because
that's a very humbling comment.
No, although my junior, my assistants rated me well, but one comment they always wrote was that I am shy of appreciating. Then I decided, yes, that may be a weakness and that's wrong. So I consciously tried to do that. That whenever you see something, maybe I'm still lacking, but I try to do that consciously.
I think, sir, I keep on learning a lot of things. Every time I talk to you, I have learned a lot of things. I think we are talking today this way, I think, after many years. So there is a message for me that no matter what we do, there is always a scope for us to make it better. When this is coming from you, who is a person who has been complimenting so many people, have personally seen that happening. And still you are saying that there is a scope for you to get better. I think there is a lot of scope for people like me to get better. So thank you so much. Sir, I'm talking about the days of Tata Steel Limited, when used to be you were heading a large setup. So friends, I think this is for the audience. We are talking to Mr. U. Ramachandran. He used to head a business unit of Tata Steel, which had 5,000 people, if not more. That means almost 10 multinationals in some of these cities and countries that we see. And I have seen you, sir, I think encouraging many people. And of course, you have been a veteran in Tata Group, sir. I am saying this with humility, sir. I think you have spent many decades and I've seen you working with some of the biggest of leaders, and I have seen you leading some of the biggest of leaders who today have become big leaders. So, sir, I have seen one thing always about you, that is, if I take some names, for example, Sundar Raman, DB Sundar Raman, and many people who got inspired by you. Sir, how did you have this ability to locate or spot something good which a person is doing? And how did you used to get time to inspire these people despite having got to manage a team size of 5,000 kind of people? So how did you do it, sir? Let's start from there.
It's a very tough question because and I never give a thought to this. I thought, let me honestly answer this, because you have raised this point when you had given me a hint that you will be asking some such question.
Yeah. Let me tell you, share a few things. How I think this will inspire people to also compliment other people.
I personally felt that all people are good. Only the environment and the circumstances make them good or bad.
Right, sir.
So, and I can see some people who can be easily be molded and trained. That may be the one which I have differentiated, because there are some people who can be trained. Maybe their environment has not. They have been brought up in a good environment, and they have not been.
Sure.
I'm afraid of using some words like corrupted, etc. But so it's easy to mold them. I picked up people like that, whom I thought that we can mold them and bring them up. And I'm happy that, as you rightly told, many of these boys have come up well. And I feel very happy. Not only that they have done well, but sometimes they keep remembering me also. That is more rewarding than...
No, absolutely. I think I wanted to share with all the audience, gentlemen, I think all the viewers, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for watching this interaction. You take any of my books. I think anybody who has gone through at least one book of mine knows for sure that if you go through the book, under acknowledgement section, you'll find a separate paragraph on Ramachandran, sir. You can see it here also. So in that, there is a paragraph on Ramachandran, sir. I have worked with many people, but there are just a few people who touched my life so deeply. And I think this is what sir is talking about. I think there are so many, I'm not the only person. There are so many people who are holding the positions of chairman, vice presidents, presidents across the corporate world, and they have got such a deep connection with Ramachandran, sir. And I think I'm saying this with humility, that they are always in touch with you. Sir, one thing, I also saw that while being in Tata Steel, you also used to always take out some time to do something good for the community. I recall personally, I had conducted some programs for school children. I think this is something which I have not seen too many people doing, because you had a very busy schedule. Still used to go out, reach out to some of these schools, some of these teachers, and used to go and do whatever we could do. Sir, something about your keenness to do something for the society. If you could just share something. I'm pretty sure you must be doing that even now while being in Kerala.
No, I'm doing that. In fact, I'm associated with a charitable eye hospital, and now they are building a new hospital in a nearby town. Right, and they didn't have any technical people to assist them. So I am volunteering them, and I at least once or twice a month I travel there and trying to get them on track, so that the building is almost now complete.
So nice.
It's a 5-story building, and it's a completely charitable organization. And the point what you are telling and about the reaching out to people. See, as a professional, you are into mining. If you closely observe, we have been taking away people, and we have been causing a lot of sort of damage to the nearby villages, and you would have seen that people getting affected because of blasting and things like that. So it was more of a compulsion which started, but then became a passion. So we need to do something to the nearby people who are affected because of your work. And mining is such a profession that it does affect the nearby community. So it became sort of a mandatory thing, which became a passion later on.
No, I think today when I see many youngsters, sorry sir, I'll just take half a minute. Today when I see many youngsters, voluntarily, willingly they are coming forward to do something for the society, I think I can see that the seed which might have been sown by people like you long time back has started bearing fruit. So do you get to see that now youngsters also start joining hands with you in some of the projects? I don't know. I mean, any comment which you would like to share?
Unfortunately, the project which I am looking after, they are all senior people.
Yeah.
I don't get but let me tell you how I got into this this charitable hospital. I had a neighbor. I have told you about him. He was about 94 years old. Last year he passed away.
Right, sir.
A person who started a second innings at the age of 75. He is a chartered accountant, a very renowned chartered accountant of this place. And he got into this charitable organization, and he built this hospital brick by brick. Okay.
Right.
And he has spent a lot of money from his own pocket, plus his friends and relatives have contributed to that. And that's how the hospital came out. In fact, my association with him, I started really liking, and he also used to, although my age difference is quite, we are about 20 years age difference.
Right, sir.
But then he always found me comfortable talking to me, because he normally doesn't open out to people. So I took this opportunity, and I learned a lot of things from him about his chartered accountancy, plus the way he has dealt with this thing. It was a great experience for me. And I really lost a friend when he used to treat me like his son.
Wow.
So that was, and that's how I got, attracted to this charitable hospital.
So nice. So I think this is something which I can connect the dots, or I can see that you always had this inclination. And by sharing this, I will request all the audience, all the viewers to please take out some time for making some contribution to the society, because as one of my coaches always say that when we give to the world selflessly, the world gives back to us all the positive things which we have been dreaming about endlessly. That's something which one of my coaches used to say. And I have seen the person that I'm talking about, he is a person who is in crores and crores every year, and he does not even talk about money. I mean, I'm talking about somebody who is really big, and he is at a just very tender age of maybe 40 years, 42 years, that's all. And I can see that contribution, making some contribution for the benefit of the society in whichever form that people do. I think it gives some kind of happiness and satisfaction, and a lot of things. I think you are the best person to talk about it. But so thank you so much for.
It also keeps you engaged. See,
it keeps us engaged.
After an age, if you sit idle, then there will be little bit of problems here and there. But if you concentrate only on that, then it becomes multiplied. But you are able to divert yourself into activity like this, or learning some new things. That keeps you actually mentally.
Keeps us agile, absolutely. Yeah.
You're engaged with something else, so you don't bother with your body, this pain and that pain, etc. So of course it is easier said than done. But I'm fortunate, but I don't have many serious problems. But then I always keep telling my friends, do something so that you don't concentrate on your problems. You only talk.
Absolutely.
I mean, think about.
That is a great thing, sir, to stay engaged, on day-to-day basis. And I have seen that probably that could be one of the reasons. But I've always seen that you are one of those people who are youngest at heart, sir. I can well imagine you being with hundreds, maybe 10 or 20 or 30 youngsters in a hall, and then you still are the youngest person. So how do you do that, sir? How do you manage to stay young? And I can see that you gel well with all people with different age groups, including youngsters. I've seen that happening over I'm talking about 20, 30, 25 years ago. Some comments on this, sir.
I don't know. I thought I'm not very good at it, but I'm now happy that you're now. When I was doing it, you never complimented me. Today you're complimenting me.
So I think I'm also getting better, sir. I'm also learning.
So
I'm learning every single day. That's awesome. So you have worked in Tata Group for many years while holding some of the senior most positions. And you have spent many decades in the state of Jharkhand while working in Tata Group of companies. And then, of course, the world is about distractions also. So there is some call which is trying to distract me. I'm going to put it down. So that's the message to all the audience friends. I think stay focused. Distractions will come. Please stay focused on the thing which you are doing at the moment. Let's be in the moment. I think I'm enjoying this moment. Sir, and then you came to Kerala, where you have been there over last, I think, many years. Sir, when you look back at your life, which has been a very fulfilling life, you have got kids, children who are doing very well. I know that they're in some of the biggest multinationals across, I think, some global multinationals. If, sir, we have to today, I think it's just, we are going to take just not more than 2 to 3 minutes time. If we have to write a book on your life and your experiences, what do you think would be the headline, the topic or the theme of the book or the title of the book? I mean, this is a common question which I ask all the people because I am an author, so I feel it comes very close to my heart. So what could be the title, sir, of the book?
Unfortunately, I'm not an author, so the author has to put
So what do you think could be a couple of words which you think are going to summarize your experiences and the kind of things which you have been doing, which are very, very close to your heart?
You see, I came from a middle class family, upper middle class family. And from there, I went to a state where I didn't know the language, nothing, because I knew a little bit of Hindi, and landed up in Jharkhand and then became a
Yeah, I think you used to speak very good Hindi, sir. For a person who comes from Kerala, I think, and then for a person who has been in Bihar and Jharkhand, of course, that in those days, I think both the states were together. I think you used to have great command on Hindi.
I don't know if I write a book, I don't know what title I should give. I'm not, seriously, I've not given a thought to that, but.
Amazing, amazing. You know, this is great, sir. I think I can certainly think of some titles. So if you allow me, I can suggest, can I suggest a couple of titles? Sir, of course, something which you have to suggest, but I'll try and suggest. I'll make
that's why I told you the author has to suggest.
And this is something which I'm not thought through. I'm going to think of this title right now because I thought sir is going to suggest, but sir is a very humble person. And I think this is one lesson which I have to learn. I think all of us have to learn this thing from this lesson from sir. So one title could be From Corporates to Community. I mean, this is something which is just coming to my mind. From corporates to community, I think how you have maintained an amazing balance while being in corporate life, while still doing something for the world at large is something which I have learned a lesson from you. Others could be, I think you also have been a person who is equally at ease with people across the age groups. So maybe being young at heart. Young at heart. I think that could be one topic. So there could be many titles which I can think of, sir. I think, but yes, sir.
No, I'm not thought over it because since I'm not an author, I'm not able to coin such.
No, I think so. Being young at heart is something which I can see as an apt title. One of the best titles which we can choose for the book, which could be written on the life and the experiences of sir. Sir, from the same book. Can you suggest a couple of chapters which you think must be there in that book? Some chapters from your life, things which you think are very important, very relevant. One certainly could be on leadership, I think, sir.
No, even if leadership is definitely one.
Yeah.
Another thing which I said is how you have to develop your credibility in an organization.
Developing the credibility in the organization.
That's very important because once you establish your credibility, then things becomes easy because even as a leader, even when you're heading a small group, you're a leader there also. So that leadership is there. But then what I find in companies like Tata Steel is that your credibility has got a lot of importance. Once the management identify your credibility, that you're a very credible person, then things becomes easy. And so that's one thing which I don't know how you
this is very important, sir. Actually, I did like this because I know how crucial it is because I have worked in many multinationals, including the ones which are not a part of Tata Group. And I've got deep respect for all the MNCs, all the companies in which I've worked. Having said that, I have seen that some of the senior most, I'm not using the word best. Some of the most senior leaders also do not enjoy the kind of credibility which they must be enjoying in the eyes of employees. And this is because of various reasons.
Yes.
But I think this is one very important topic, sir. So let's stay on this topic for a moment. Sir, in your opinion, what do you think a leader or a senior manager should do to establish himself or herself as a credible leader or manager in any corporate?
See, you have to walk the talk. And not only that you should look credible, but your action also should be perceived by both your assistants, peers, as well as the seniors, that what you are doing is credible. So that is very, very important. So that can be only done by your actions. Your actions will speak for your credibility. So that's put it in very simple.
No, this is very apt, sir. This probably is the best way of putting this thing because I always tell my mentees, because I have been in many one-to-one coaching programs, and I tell my mentees that your actions always speak louder than your words.
Yeah.
And I think this is very true. I think this is what exactly you said. So I think people have to watch for the congruency between their sayings and their doings, right, sir? Their actions and their sayings have to match. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, also, sir, I see that in many companies, of course, Tatas are known to be one of the most credible, I think, organizations with one of the most best credible set of leaders that, as I have seen. Any suggestions, sir, which you would like to share with corporate world at large, as why do you think credibility is such an important thing? I know for sure, but I wanted to check with you because I'm pretty sure while you say this, make this a statement, you have got a lot of thoughts, memories at the back end. Why do you think credibility is one of those? जैसे सर अगर हम हिंदी में बोले, हम बोलते हैं कि और नारियों का, औरतों का गहना है, होता है ना, कुछ होता है, आभूषण कुछ होता है. So leaders का गहना है वो credibility is what I think. उनका सबसे, I think this is the one thing which they have to value the most. But any some thoughts on this, sir? Why do you think people should value it much more than most of the people are valuing?
Yeah, I'll give you a simple example. When I was given the charge of this project, which is one of, at that time was one of the largest projects after the cold rolling mill in Jamshedpur.
Right, sir.
When that project was over, the project which I was heading was the next largest project in the company. So I wanted to, because I didn't know anything about project, to be honest with you. And so I just went and met the project chief of cold rolling mill, who happened to be the MD of Tata Steel after Mr. Dr. Irani. Mr. Muthraman was the leader of that project. So I went and asked him, I spoke to him, he was very patient, he gave me a lot of time to discuss, etc. I told him how you handle this project, etc. So one question which I asked him was that about the powers of the project manager. No, he told me, don't bother about the project. If you do your work and if you are able to establish your credibility, this is not an issue at all. The budget is not a problem at all. And I'm telling you, this was very, very true. Because once you do something and you want to do something, I'll tell you, for example, he wanted to have a, sorry, I don't know whether I'm boring you with some examples.
Audible, absolutely audible, and it's very important, sir. What you're saying is absolutely audible. We are all ears to you, sir.
You see, when we were executing the project, this is a very challenging time we had.
Right, sir.
Because there was a group which was not wanting the project to come because they didn't want this money to go to the raw material. They wanted it for the steel company, Jamshedpur. There was a lot of struggle. So that is how I learned to sell my project to other people.
Wow.
So one of the things was, the challenge was that the project should have a IRR. They are given a minimum IRR. Unless otherwise it touches that, we will not be able to sanction the project.
Internal rate of return, yeah.
We really worked hard.
Yeah.
In fact, there are a few people in the team, they really worked hard, and we tried to do a lot of things. In fact, I sent 2 of my boys to both Australia as well as to Indonesia to look at many of the projects and find out what they are doing differently so that we can do some cost saving.
Yes, sir.
And one of them was training the operators through the simulator, which was not done in India at that point of time at all.
Wow.
But we are not budgeted for that simulator. So then we decided, okay, by doing this, what are we trying to achieve? We are going to try to achieve more operating hours. So when you're increasing the operating hours, you don't need so many equipment. We'll drop some of the equipment. So I went and told the management, look, we have not budgeted for this, but I can surrender a few equipments in lieu of this, which will be double the cost of what I'm going to spend for this simulator.
Yes.
Without blinking an eyelid, it was sanctioned. It was a single party. There was no other competitor for that. It's an Australian company which was making it.
Awesome.
And so this is what I'm trying to say, that if your actions are well-meaning.
No, I think absolutely, sir. I'm just thinking about it. What you said is very, very powerful, sir. Very, very powerful. I think all the audience, I just wanted to share something. So, yes, sir spoke about simulators, and I think most of you might be aware, some of you might be aware of the fact that when it comes to training pilots for flying some of these Boeings and Airbus and all that, simulators are used. And sir is talking about a mining company way back, I think at least 20 years ago, maybe 15, 20 years ago, when he, for the first time, got the concept of training the workmen, the operators who are going to operate some of these high-end heavy earth-moving machines to be trained on simulators, which is something nobody had thought of, nobody had heard of, sir. I think I recall having gone and seen some of these simulating machines which you had got installed. And this was installed on single party basis, sir. I think it needs a lot of credentials. I think the same thing which you spoke about, lot of credibility. Sir, मुझे लगता है आज की दुनिया में हम लोग बहुत ज्यादा leadership, बहुत सारे jargons, words, ये triangle, simulator, triangle, quad, circle, बहुत कुछ use करते हैं. McKinsey and BCG, sorry, boss, if somebody happens to be from McKinsey, BCG, my respect to you. See, at the core of it, it's all about competence and credibility. You need to be the best in whatever you are doing. And then once you are best at something which you are doing, then you start gaining credentials. And once the market starts seeing, I think, these two qualities about somebody, I think rest of the things become easy, sir. And I think I must share with the audience that we are talking to somebody, Mr. U. Ramachandran, who has been one of the best project people in Tata Group I'm talking about. And again, once again, sir, there is another, this is the second reminder for me and for all the audience that let's be humble, because I think you are saying this with a lot of humility, something which is reminding me. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, another thing, coming to, suppose, sir, let's imagine a situation, you are in Kerala and suppose a couple of people call you today or tomorrow and then say that they are going to set up a new company, a multinational is going to come and they heard about you and they want your advice in how to build the team. Suppose, sir, they want your advice in hiring people. What would be those 3 or 4 qualities which you would advise them to look for people before hiring, sir? This is something which is very important question. I would like our audience to pay attention to what sir is going to talk about.
One, of course, we like to look at the background from where they're coming from.
Yes, background check is important. So, okay.
Background. I'm talking from. I don't think it's a new recruit. We are talking about some senior people or.
Yeah, some kind of recruitment. Yeah, senior people absolutely they will come to most of the senior level hirings. Yeah.
Look at the background of those people.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two, I would like to ask them what contribution they have made to the company and in what way they have contributed to the company, and you'll be able to easily find out whether they are talking theoretical or practical from the way they are talking, because that, of course, you need to have that capacity to find out whether they are bluffing or they are actually done. So that is something which they have, whether they have done it or they are just talking something in the air. So that is
very important, sir. Any other qualities, sir, which you would like to share? I think this is very important, very powerful. Very powerful. So I think, sir, you spoke about, sir, background check, which is very important, because once we do background check, we know which background a person is coming, which is very important because a person's surrounding defines the person that a person becomes. Second is very important. You also spoke about the fact that we need to see whether what kind of credentials they have got and whether they have done something for the company. Sir, in a world today, let's talk about it for a couple of minutes.
In fact, after leaving Tata Steel, I worked for 3 years for an Australian company also. So there we did a lot of recruitment.
Okay.
So one of the things which you used to look at, how many jobs he has changed in a span of, say, somebody with a 10 years experience would have changed five jobs. There are people who are, so that is something which you need to look at very carefully, whether it is what made them change 5 times. So that also indicates is a very important thing when a recruitment is. That's what I had looked at when I was recruiting for that company.
No, this is absolutely relevant, sir, because I have seen people who have been changing, who have changed 4 jobs in 5 years. So that's certainly a question mark. And once you ask them the rationale, that rationale is also important because people are smart now. They will certainly create something just to try to convince you. But I think that's where you said something, sir. When it comes to credibility, it shows. In a world which is all about people who are trying to create a facade, credibility, credentials, the ability to look at somebody's face and find whether the person is trying to twist and, kind of create things, I think is visible. And I think this is just maine kaha, ye gahna hai purushon ka. Credentials, credibility is the most important.
Arun, since you are in that business, today it must be very difficult. I think there are people have been training so much as to how to appear for interview and how to bluff, etc. It will be very difficult to find out now. I don't know.
Yeah, you are absolutely right, sir. I'll tell you, sir, in today's world, when it comes to coaching and this thing, because I have seen that in the world of coaching, mentoring, training, and the kind of things which we know are going to transform the lives of people. Most of the people will be focusing on some of the skills, which is important. How can I become a great public speaker? How can I go and portray a picture so that people fall in love with me? How to be good at spoken English, for example. So these are the skills which people are focusing on. They are missing the foundation. The entire foundation is missing and they're trying to create a skyscraper, which is not going to happen. The entire building is going to collapse, and we have seen that happening. We have seen a lot of examples. So there are people who had huge amount of wealth and then they couldn't enjoy that wealth, right? There are many examples which have happened in the same time. There are people who had 5-star background from which they came, and then now they can't even enter the country, right? They are running from one country to another country. So I think foundations are missing. I always tell people that go back to the foundations of life and career. There is no difference between life and career and nature. It's all the same.
Absolutely.
A tree is going to take a few years. It's going to take some time, but you have to water it every day. Hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work. Karo yaar, baad mein smart work bhi karoge. But before you think of doing hard work, smart work, first know what work is. Isn't it, sir? Know the nitty-gritty. Then your mind can think of finding a better way, which is all about doing a smart work. And we must do that because we all have got brains. So we have to keep on applying the brain every single day. I was talking to somebody, sir, very senior person. He said that, Arun, every day I always ask a question whether the thing which I have been doing can be made better. Now, these are the basics of life, sir. To question the status quo, which is, I think, which I know you have done, you have been doing. I think you have done it so well. So I think we have to question whether we can make it better. And that is what makes us do a smart work, right, sir? Because we can find whether we can use technology like simulator is the best example. In a mining area, I can't think of any other leader other than you who could have thought of bringing simulators, which till then used to be thought of something which is only for pilots. And that also convincing the management based on single party basis is all about credentials. So I think, sir, the fundamentals of life, business, success, health are the same. Being genuine, being credible, being competent, learning every single day, right, sir? And then focusing on something which are the most important priorities for you. The world is a world of distractions. And then I have seen people focusing on things which are not exactly the things that they should be talking too much about. I've seen people talking a lot about marketing kaise karna, selling kaise karna, marketing kaise karna, selling kaise karna, public speaking kaise karna, अंग्रेजी kaise bola. पहले basic foundation तो ठीक है, ये सब अपने आप आ जाएगा, isn't it, sir? Like if, for example, in the business of coaching, since I'm in a coaching area, if people know that Arun has got it, I can see that the spark that he can actually help me transform my life, they will come to me. I do not even have to go and put a selling pitch. But uske liye sir, mujhe apne aap ko to har din hone karke I have to be the best, isn't it, sir, in the field that we are? Absolutely. I think it's all about basics and fundamental, which I think you also are talking about the same. In a world where people are talking about a lot of shining glitz and all, which is there. सर आपसे सवाल है सर, आप सर काफी देश घूमे हैं सर, you have seen lot of many countries. I think let's on a lighter note, sir, would you like to tell us about some of these places or countries or cities? These might be places, cities in India also, which you enjoy the most while being at some of these places.
You see, I'll tell you something. In the year 2019, my children made my elder son and daughter-in-law, they planned a trip along with them. We also went to Europe. Wow. Europe means mostly Italy and Austria.
Wow.
So we visited a lot of places. And I remember spending a lot of time in Vatican, looking at the Michelangelo's painting and things like that. And I was really awed by that. Now, after that, after a year after that, I was in Bangalore. And I told my son, actually, we were planning to go to Port Blair. My daughter again had planned that we will go to Port Blair. But unfortunately, my grandson fell sick and the program has to be cancelled.
Right, sir.
So then we were getting bored at home. So I told my son, why don't we drive down to some place? So I told him I want to see a place which is known as Halabedu. So then myself and my son, we just took it was at 7:38 in the evening. It's about 200 kilometers from Bangalore, 150 kilometers from Bangalore. We just took in the night and then reached there in the night and stayed at a place known as Hassan. Hassan is the place where we have to stay overnight. And this place is around 30 kilometers from Hassan. So early morning next day, we went to this place. I am telling you, after looking at that place, Vatican etc. is absolutely nothing. In fact, the type of carving, the type of this thing, I saw pillars, stone pillars, which has been built in 1190. The building has been done in 1190, and all the pillars are as if they've been machine turned.
Wow.
This shape and everything uniform. I will send you some photograph. You think.
Please, sir. I think I would like to share this with the audience. Yeah.
And we saw some some posters where they are wearing what's that?
The ornaments or necklace or something.
And the ornaments all stone. You can put a paper inside, one on top of the other. The ornaments are there, and you can put a paper and see that gap is there between each of them.
Wow.
Such beautiful thing, I'm telling you. So
this is amazing, sir.
And
I think yes, sir.
We ourselves have not looked at our own country, and then
I always tell people that if there is one journey which people do not take, that is the journey within. अपने आप को जानते नहीं है, दूसरों को जानने में लगे हुए, वो क्या कर रहा है, वो क्या कर रहा है, वो ऐसे कर रहा है, वैसे कर रहा है, अपने कंट्री को जानते नहीं हम लोग दूसरे कंट्री में. I think this example is a brilliant one, sir. होता ना सर, हम लोग बचपन सुनते थे घर की मुर्गी दाल बराबर, मतलब अपने आसपास इतने बड़े बड़े सोने हीरे होते हैं. And I've seen that happening also. Some of the people who I know need a transformation in their life, but they will think for 5 minutes time before they come and talk to me. And there are people who are getting in touch with me from Kullu Manali, from Shimla, from Kanyakumari. Sir, हम लोग जो अपने आसपास होता है sir ना, I think this is an amazing example. Viewers, please pay attention to what sir just said.
So we spent so much of money in tracing the famous movie, which was shot in Austria, to see that places where the film picture has been shot, which palace it has been shot, and they are making so much of money on that. And I was wondering, we have got such treasure here, and we don't have a proper place to stay there.
Okay. Sir, I think this is very powerful sentence which you said, sir. आस-पास काफी कुछ है, लेकिन हम लोगों को लगता है कि दूर में होता ना, दूर के ढोल सुहावन. I think that's what is happening. Not only this is just one example, it's happening across the world. So this is very interesting, and I'm also connecting this with the world of motivation and life transformation. Very interesting. So some of the books which touched your heart the most, which you would like to recommend to some of the viewers and audience. You can exclude my books. Yes, sir.
See, my grandfather was a voracious reader, and my job was to get him books from the library. So every day I used to bring him 2 books and used to finish it by evening. And so we had a lot of collection at home, a lot of books. And one of the favorite author was Somerset Maugham.
Okay.
It's a famous author, of course.
Yeah.
You're too young to know about those authors because they're old-time authors. And also one book which is really I really liked was Ayn Rand's The Fountainhead.
Ayn Rand. I think it was a classic. I have not read it fully, but I recall many of my batchmates from Tata Steel days, they used to keep a copy of this. But keeping a copy is one thing, and completing the book, I can see that you're completing the book, that's another thing. It's a very inspiring book, I think, very path-breaking idea. Okay, let's talk about movies, sir. Do you watch movies?
I also had, in a later stage in my life, Autobiography of Yogi is another book which I liked.
Okay.
Autobiography of Yogi. I don't know whether you have.
I've got a copy of this. Autobiography of Yogi, yeah. Swami Lahiri Mahasaya.
No, Lahiri Mahasaya is one of the characters.
Paramahansa Yogananda.
Yeah, you know where his institute is?
Ranchi?
Yes. In fact,
Yoga Ashram.
Yoga Ashram. In fact, one of my uncles, his lifetime ambition was to go to Nalanda because he wanted to see the university and then visit this Yogananda. So he came to me, I took him to both these places. And that's how I came to know about Paramahansa Yogi, and I read that book.
I think, sir, I'll share with you one thing. I recall many years ago, once my father-in-law came from Patanjali Yogram, and he knew about this place. Of course, I also knew, but for us, ghar ki murgi dal barabar, pata nahi Ranchi mein kya hai. And I'm talking about the days when I was working in Tata Steel, and Tata Steel, it was the same area, very close to Ranchi. He came to Jharkhand, he said, Arun, let's go to Yoga Ashram. Sir, believe me, when we entered that, and I think it's not for everybody that anybody can enter, but I think they have got areas where people can go. It was like a magical place. It is like a heaven.
There is a place where you do the meditation.
Meditation is like
people say when you go there, you get some vibes.
सर वो अलग ही वाइब है सर. मुझे अभी याद है वहां पर मैं तो हर चीज में एक अलग ही वाइब था. मुझे याद उसमें गर्मी के समय था, और मैंगोज का सीजन था और मैंगोज के ट्री में मैंने मैंगोज देखे इतने ज्यादा कि मैंगो जमीन को टच करे, मैंने वहीं देखा सर देयर इज समथिंग इन द अबाउट द एनवायरनमेंट आल्सो, ब्लेस्ड प्लेस, the food which we had, the people that we met, we went and saw one person who had been in Samadhi over last many days. I still recall that then my father-in-law had carried a set of his books because he has written some 25 books, Dr. Nagan Dheeraj. He gifted his books to to some of these people and it was a different experience. मुझे लगा यार मैं बचपन मैं पैदाइश हुआ है मेरी रांची के बगल में, मतलब झारखंड की, and I have been there I have spent all my childhood days, and then it required somebody like I required somebody like my father-in-law Dr. Nagan Dheeraj to come when I was already 25 years, and then he came and showed me the place which is bagal mein hai, jaisa again going back to the same example which you spoke about sir, this beautiful place which is close to Bangalore. So bhai jitne bhi log Bangalore se dekh rahe hain is video ko, please wo jagah ka naam मैं sir se पूछ के मैं को बताऊंगा, भेजूंगा please. And that's just one example. आपके आसपास आपके अंदर में बहुत सारे टैलेंट्स हैं, ताकतें हैं, उसको पहचानिए. Sir, you have spent quite a good time in Jharkhand, and then you are currently in Kerala, two different states. So there is a book by I think Chetan Bhagat, two states. So आपका जो दोनों स्टेट का क्या एक्सपीरियंस है सर? Would you like to give some comparison, something which you saw in both the states?
You know, it is by accident I came to Kerala, because although I am a Keralite, I never lived in Kerala because my father was in Tamil Nadu. He was a doctor in Madurai.
Okay.
So, and also after my school days and college days, I did my engineering from Madurai only, and from that, after that I went to Jharkhand. So I never stayed in Kerala. And we were planning to settle down in Bangalore. I had a house in Bangalore, I had a flat in Bangalore. So we are planning to live there. But it so happened that my mother-in-law passed away when and she had left that house in Calicut to my wife. So she had some sentimental value for that house. So she wanted to come and stay here. So it was a very strange experience for me. It was complete anonymity for me because nobody knew me here. Except
you are coming from a place where everybody knew in Tata Steel.
I am telling you, I used to introduce myself as so-and-so's husband because she is the only one who knew it. Even in this colony where we are living, hardly anybody knew me.
My goodness, no, sir. I think this also shows how caring husband you are, and you because you wanted to give this kind of experience. And
no, but I like the anonymity after living in West Bengal, etc. Wherever you go, you are identified as so and so, so and so. Even to that matter in Jamshedpur also, by and large, people will know which office you are there, and they behave accordingly. So I was fed up of that, and I really wanted to live in anonymity, which I could achieve here. Of course, now of course I have developed a lot of friends and things like that. But initially, for the first 1 or 2 years, I really lived in anonymity in Kerala.
So I think I enjoyed the kind of liberty which you got. At times we just enjoy being at the place ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. No one bothers.
Sir, on the last Saturday, just before this Saturday, I spoke with Mr. N.K. Chaudhary. You might have seen the video, Mr. Nand Kishore Chaudhary from Jaipur. He's the founder of Jaipur.
Yeah, I heard that.
He said one thing across the. I think those of you who have seen the video. I'm talking to the audience now. He has said one thing at one place that the biggest lesson advice which I would like to share with people is to lose yourself, lose your identity. We create our identity, and then we start trying to live up to the identity, and then it creates a lot of stress and a lot of things which we know. I don't want to use too many negative words. So I think it must have been similar to you. Losing your identity and then coming and enjoying
it's a great experience to lose your identity and live in anonymity. Is a great experience, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Of course, I have been robbed of that because over a period of about 7-8 years, I come to know.
I can tell you, sir, when I I've seen that happening because I was in corporate. I've been in corporate for a long time. Once you lose that identity and start getting into this world, which is all about transformation, it's a transformation. It's a different world, sir. Amazing. Sir, this is amazing. Sir, let me share with you a couple of pictures here now because I took a deep dive into your Facebook profile. I got a couple of pictures which we are going to talk about now. It's going to be fun, is what I believe. So I saw on your Facebook page, sir, one picture which I'm going to share now with you. And that picture is this picture. ये सर मैंने देखा आपके Facebook पेज में, इसका पूरा नहीं आ रहा, but this picture I've taken from your Facebook profile. I do not know about success, but the key to failure is trying to please everyone. That's the thing. Of course, in the backdrop, it does not cover the entire thing. So would you like to share something on this? Because this is something which you uploaded. And normally, hardly you upload anything on Facebook, I've seen, sir. Bataiye, sir.
So again, coming back to the organization, where we are working, even in Tata Steel, even in West Bengal, etc. This is one of the major problems for people. I don't want to take names in this thing and get into trouble, but
I can connect, sir. I'm going to say it. It's absolutely on the spot.
So people try to please everybody and then end up in deep trouble because those.
Absolutely.
You have been a party in some of the cases because when I was in the last year of my office, we had a lot of people like that. They had blindly pleased somebody, and once that boss goes away, he finds that he is in trouble because he has unnecessarily tried to please him and he landed into trouble.
It is absolutely the reality of this world. Even today, I can think of, while you're telling me, I can think of a couple of companies. Yeah, it's happening even today.
So this is what is because people do not have the guts to say
a
no, or to tell them with the fact that what you're doing is wrong. People don't have the guts to do that, and those are the people. In fact, there's a corollary to this. Those are the people who will suffer in their career.
Absolutely, sir. They certainly suffer in the career. I am thinking about one of the organizations where I worked, multinational, where there are people. There is one leader. And then the leader selected some 12 people from his past connections. And these 12 people do not have ability, power, and conviction to say one no to the leader. Leader is happy, these people are happy, and they're all going to suffer. They're suffering now. Yeah. And once the leader goes out, all these 12 people will have a bad time. Sir, I would like to read something from this book because this is a very important thing, because even I used to be a person who used to try not to rock the boat. I was not into pleasing people, but I was not into rocking the boat. So I used to say, at times, once in a while, you get a feeling that what the other person is saying, who might be higher in power than you, you might be reporting to him. What he's saying is not correct, but still I used to say, I used to try to reason, and then after a point, you give up. And that was my biggest mistake. In my transformed version 2.2, I'm a person who absolutely knows that this is the key to success. Do not please people. So I would like to read a few lines from this book because it's exactly on this. I see this world as the graveyard of abandoned dreams, goals, and pursuits. Millions of people carry a dream in their heart, waiting to muster courage someday to displease somebody. I'm not written here. Someday when they will pursue their dreams, which they know, which is hiding within them. The day never comes and people leave this planet Earth. It's not written, but I'm saying, while pleasing other people. They are buried in the graveyard along with their dreams, goals, and aspirations. But there are a few who dare to dream and chased their dreams with passion and conviction and courage, of course. They were not swayed by people with below average mindset and decided to just jump over such obstacles in their path. The world was transformed by these people. They are the change makers. As the protagonist in the movie Super 30 says, just last the second. As the protagonist in the movie Super 30 says, people dug trenches in my path. They made a mistake. Earlier I used to walk. Now I take giant leaps. लेकिन ये सारी बातें जो मैंने पढ़ी अभी वो समझ ही नहीं पाएंगे जो दूसरों को प्लीज करने में लगे हुए हैं.
You're right. The rocking the boat is another one, because people who are wanting to just have a status quo, many leaders get into the trap because they just pass their time. I don't want to do any change, and I don't consider them to be a leader of at all, because because I don't let me not touch it, let it happen, and then मेरे काम जाने के बाद जो होगा
मेरा अपना काम चलने दो, जिंदगी को शांति से बीतने दो, सैलरी आने दो, इंक्रीमेंट चले तो जो होगा देखा जाएगा. कौन, who is going to take all this पंगा? Sir, the people who have changed the world are the people who have taken this decision to do something about it. वो क्या जाने जो हाँ में हाँ मिला के चल रहे हैं, प्लीज कर रहे हैं, वो जिंदगी का मर्म ही समझ नहीं पाते सर. बिकॉज मैंने एक चीज देखा सर, unless we show one quality, unless we demonstrate one quality which is there within everybody, but then people have just let it sleep. Courage. And I think when it comes to saying something which other people may not be happy about, it's about courage. जब तक वो नहीं होता सर, I've seen this one leader who has got 12 people as well as these 12 people, they're all leading a life which is full of pain and suffering. And it's going to happen. I can see that happening. Absolutely right. But sir, ये corporate में काफी हो रहा है सर. Any ideas how to make it better, sir? ये तो हर जगह हो रहा है सर. अभी भी होता है. Of course, there are people like me who are there to write.
Go on. I don't to fight this. You need a lot of conviction. because I'll tell you, I am only again relating to my best and worst part of my challenging life was when I was managing the project, because that is the time when I really faced what is challenge.
Absolutely.
There, you need to have some conviction, because there will be a lot of people to resist, and you have to keep on fighting it and then build on them.
एकदम मैं तो कमरे में रोक के रख रहा हूं सर, because I always tell my mentees 3 C's, courage, rather 4 C's I think, courage, उसके बाद clarity as what exactly you want to achieve, and that's
when you want to do something new, I'll tell you, the resistance doesn't come from outside. The maximum resistance comes from within.
Absolutely.
Any new thing which we want to do, whether it is in HR or anything, the opposition will come from within. People say no, union object. Union is not the issue at all. It was
बहानेबाजी है सर, यूनियन पे माथे पर ठीकरा फोड़ा गया, वो सब बहानेबाजी.
In fact, it was easier to handle the union than our own management friends.
Absolutely. I always tell people that secret to success are just 4. Courage, clarity, conviction, consistent actions, watering. But yes, sir, ऐसा नहीं होता, sir. I've seen, as you rightly said, conviction is not easy, because that's the reason I've been conducting some programs every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's not about program, I'm just sharing with you. And where there is a group of people who have joined me from different parts of the country, including people from Chennai and Kerala also. So there are some people. And we spend 1 hour every 3 days a week between 5:30 to 6:30, where we practice a lot of magical morning rituals. Magical morning rituals for greatness, where we train, where we do a lot of rituals which will give us the focus and conviction, which is so rare a quality in today's world. Because unless you do some of these things in the morning, you can't get that conviction. Some breathing, some affirmation, some writing our goals, vision, why it is important, finding why of life.
Arun, were you a part of the McKinsey's top program? Were you a part of it?
Which program, sir?
Top.
I was not exactly a part, but I used to hear about this program. Total Operational Performance. I think let's talk about it.
There was a very good initiative where McKinsey guys used to do something known as a syndication. See, you got a good idea. Okay, they would see the whole top was picking up ideas from the shop floor and then selling it. So if you can imagine, if your foreman or some workman has given a suggestion, how easy the boss will accept it. It will be impossible to make the boss accept it. So they had a thing that is known as syndication. It's a very good exercise. And in
very
fact,
interesting. I can see it now.
They used to show a movie, the Rukawa Faisala. I don't know whether you have seen that movie.
I've seen that movie. Yeah.
Okay, they used to show that movie as a part of that. How to sell your idea to this thing. So this is a training which will help youngsters to overcome some of this issue.
Absolutely, sir. Isme jo morning, the one thing which I always make people do is which is included in some of these one-to-one coaching programs which I've been doing, is to make people create their own vision board, which will have 6 things. What is my vision? What is my purpose? What are my strengths? What are my core values? And what are my passions? And then they write action plans for all of these, So you also said that the journey within is the journey which most of the people are not taking at all. And that is, I think, at the core of all the problems which people are facing. So, and I think you need to have some time when it is silent, and that is the magical morning hour. That's the reason I call it magical morning hour.
Yes.
So ये जरूरी है सर. एक्चुअली मेरा गोल है सर कि इस प्रोग्राम को जो मैंने शुरू किया ये तो चलते जाएगा. अब इसमें एक दिन ऐसा आएगा जब इंडिया में रिकॉर्ड बनाना है. एक बार में 5:30 से 6:30, maybe 5:30 to 6:30. I want to have at least 50,000 people joining and being with me at the same time. So there is a revolution which you can create, sir, in the world, in this country. Revolution. If we just do one thing, we have got 30 crore youth. If we just awaken their power, so क्या करेंगे sir? Total operational performance. बिल्कुल सही बात है. McKinsey, great.
Let me ask you something. How are you measuring your success?
So first of all, I think it's a very difficult question, sir. We get one day. First of all, what is success? Because I was just thinking, what is success? Then I'll measure. First, I need to know what exactly success is. So I thought, if I'm doing something which I think is important for me, for the world, for the society, and if I'm doing it while still being in the field of my passion, something which is at the core of me. And if I'm making a difference in the lives of people, I think that could be one definition of success. There are different definitions. So I think we'll take some time to understand success. And I would like to hear you, sir. Hear you, sir, on more on this. So ये question बहुत ही आपने पूछ दिया sir लोगों. So viewers, audience, please think about it. What is the measurement of success? I think you please think about it. First of all, you think about success, and then you think about measurement, and then you see whether on a scale of 1 to 10, whether you are 0.5. Some people might be on negative side also, sir. -1, -2, and then you are 8 or 9. But any thoughts on this? It's a very interesting question which you asked, sir.
For example, you're doing a lot of mentorship, or so the number of people you have mentored, how they have performed in their actual business or in the community, that is a measure you can make.
Yeah, absolutely right, sir. So what happens is that these mentees are from different fields. For example, just to share some of my thoughts. For example, there are people who were not getting increment over the last 5-6 years. And then these people got increment next year. Not only that, they got a very good increment. Because once you transform yourself, I mean, I'm talking about audience, the world is going to witness it. The world is going to witness it.
That's a great success for you. Even one person you are able to change.
A person who absolutely one life. So I'll tell you, there are many examples. There is one mentee, sir. It's a very interesting question which you asked. There is one mentee who had lost his job. And once somebody loses a job, person also loses energy, conviction. Everything goes down. First, what I do is to build their morale. Look up, take a deep breath, and feel greatness about it. That's what vision board does. And then, of course, I make them build some super powerful habits. कम से कम 20-25 habits मैं build करा देता हूँ. हर दिन करते हैं सर वो. छोटे-छोटे habits, which I prefer calling as magical morning rituals. And then they define their goals of life, with vision, purpose, passion, core values, सब कुछ करते हैं अपना step. And then they write goals on different horizons. For example, what most of the people commit a mistake of is that they only write their goals in the field of money. No, money is just one thing: money, relationship, then career, then passion, family, societal responsibility. सारा सब मिलाकर. So that is known as wheel of life. And then this guy who lost his job, first he built his confidence. He went, appeared in interviews, he got a job. Because the way he explained to them that, okay, this is a break. So what? It's just a little bend. It's not the end of life, Mr. Interview panelist. They were zapped. ये बंदा नौकरी छोड़ के इतना confidently बात कर रहा है. He got a job immediately, sir. And then not only that, he got another job in next 2 months' time. I said, hold on. Now you have to be consistent. That is another lesson which you spoke about. Many examples are there, sir. Many examples. But I think it's a very interesting question. I'll certainly make someday a glossary of all these transformations so that people know it better. I think we've got some idea, not much, but yeah, there are many people who do not know it. Thank you so much, sir. I think होता है सर, जब हम conversation शुरू करते हैं कुछ ऐसे लोगों के साथ में जो इतने इंस्पायरिंग है, जिनके अंदर में जेन्युइन वो एक पावर है, एक कन्विक्शन है और एक क्लैरिटी और एक शाइन है, तो सर लगता है समय गुजरते चला. 1 घंटा हो गया सर. I didn't even know. It's almost 1 hour. Sir, from your side, sir, anything else which you would like to share for the audience? Any topic?
No, one of the things which I firmly feel is that in the leadership itself, you have to stand up for your people. In fact, I had an experience of, I don't want to take the names, etc. There was a major, I hope you wanted to give a message only, or you have got time to listen to my story.
I'm enjoying it, sir. We'll take some 10 minutes more, sir. Please go on.
I'll tell you that there was an accident which has taken place. I don't want to say the place because immediately people will come to know where it is, etc. Fortunately, there was no loss of life, but there was a huge loss in terms of the damage. It was a thing, but under construction. It has not been handed over for the project to the operating. But in our enthusiasm, people found out that these people can start the plant. So we went and started the plant and successfully started it. But still, work was going on in some of the things which has not been fully fitted, because of which this failure took place. And so there was one side is a project team and there is an operation team. So operation was being headed by me, and the common head for both project, and there was another person. I don't want to name.
Yeah.
So then the whole thing happened. They wanted to show that they're wanting to take action on someone. And axe fell on the person who was in charge of the plant, who was my assistant. So in the meantime, my mother passed away, and I had to go back, and I attended her cremation and came back. So once I came back, the boss called me. I thought he's calling me to convey his condolences to me. Instead, he handed over me an envelope. So I saw that envelope was sacking the assistant, putting the entire blame of failure on him and sacking the thing. So I told him, look, that action which was taken, which has led to the failure, he had taken permission from me. So I have no business to be in this. And he's supposed to be a very tough and tough boss. And he's famous for his shouting and tantrums, etc. But I didn't lose my cool. But I told him, look, either you accept my thing and then serve it to him. I will not accept this action at all. He was taken aback. He never thought that he will get a reply from me like this. And finally, I convinced him, either it is me or him. There is no way he can go. I don't know where from I got the courage, but I made this, and then finally he had to go down. And then it was converted into 10 days suspension, which was made into leave, etc. But of course, and that the person doesn't know. The best part is I have never told that man that this thing has happened. So what I'm trying to say, this is what I would expect the leaders to demonstrate. I'm not saying that I'm a great leader, but at least this incident, which has etched permanently in my mind, because somehow I got the courage, because I was very convinced that this fellow was not at fault. If at all there has to be fault, then actually the project head would have been at fault. But then I told the buck stops with me.
Sir, you made me think introspect now, because I see many leaders, I know many leaders, quite a few, who actually would have done just the opposite. They would have actually added a couple of more letters for some more people who somehow they were not liking, and they would have used this opportunity to clean it up. So audience, now you know why I am so privileged, why we all are so privileged to be talking to Mr. U. Ramachandran, because there is a reason why I invited him to this talk show. Because this is the kind of leadership which we want to be seen, and which we want to be shown, which we want to be demonstrated by thousands and thousands of leaders in corporates. I'm going to make a special mention of this part of conversation in the video when I upload it, that, okay, please watch this video from this minute to this minute. This is very important. Thank you so much, sir. This is an awesome, I think, let people think about it. It's an awesome example.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Awesome. Sir, let me share another picture which I downloaded from your Facebook page. I keep on downloading, sir. I took a deep dive. No, it's very interesting, sir.
I have to be careful now while posting something in the Facebook.
No, you hardly post anything. Yeah, it's there. So here is a picture. This is something which you uploaded, because I've seen, sir, on your Facebook page, there are more people. Most of the posts have been made by some other people while tagging you. You just watch. But this is one post which you made, which is very interesting. All are busy with cricket, but nobody realized that India won 6 gold medals in cycling. Don't hesitate to share. Now, sir, I'll just take half a minute here. It's very important. I picked up this picture. This again talks about the same thing. Do not look at what the world is willing to show you. Also look at the people who are not being seen. Also compliment those people like who are writing something. And that is the quality which I want people, hundreds and thousands of people who are going to watch this video to pick up from you. So I ensure that, sir, this post goes to at least 10 lakh people, sir. That's my assurance. I'll do it. I'll talk to Facebook, I'll do something, and I'll ensure that this goes to at least 10 lakh people. Your comments are on this. It's very interesting.
No, in fact, the same thing what you're told. We normally look at, our focus is only on what other people want to see. Because cricket is something which has got a lot of money, which has a lot of fame and things like that. But the amount of effort and these boys have put up, boys and girls who have put up as a cyclist, it went unnoticed. They are no mean to any cricketer. In fact, their shelf life is much less than the cricketer. So we need to give them encouragement in both financially as well as morally, more to these people than to the cricket this thing. Some of the fad of cricket, I'm a cricketer myself, and I keep watching my cricket also, but I also make sure I watch other games also. So that is the point which you hit the nail correctly. We want to only look at the small things which lose sight. That is where
So, no, this is very interesting, sir. Now we have come to a close circle now, full circle now, as a part of this conversation. So, audience, what sir just said is very, very powerful sentence or statement. And I think that is what is a very key requirement for being a visionary leader. A leader is somebody who has got the vision, and sir certainly had this vision, something which made him see something which people are doing. I want to use the word talent and knowledge, something which people are doing at a time when nobody was watching them. Nobody was taking cognizance of what they were doing. The example of cycling is one thing. The example of all these books is another thing. But when you compliment somebody, I think this is a request to all the audience. Please appreciate people. Please try to take a pause in this busy life while you are busy. Just take a pause. It's not about being busy. Take a pause and think about something good which somebody is doing, your children, your wife, who has been cooking a nice food. Take a pause today on this Saturday, Sunday, whenever you watch this video, and give a genuine word of compliment to these people. You never know, your compliment could be like a seed which will lead to a huge tree. There are 5 trees which already are there, credit goes to you, sir. All the credit for these books go to you, sir.
Oh, so no.
That's the reason I wanted to invite you to this. And of course, I'm currently working on 5-6 more books. 1,000 millions of lives are going to change. And credit goes to people like you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Arun. In fact, I don't think I have any contribution to your book. It is your talent and your passion for writing which has brought in those books. Maybe we might have really ignited some spark somewhere. But ultimately, it is you who did this work, and I really appreciate the transformation from a very shy boy to a very, what should I say? Every day I keep seeing your videos, talking so confidently and writing books. Fantastic! It's a fantastic journey.
Thank you so much, sir. I have seen many leaders in my life, but you said something, and which has been kind of leading to something. And with this message, I think I would like the audience to reflect, introspect for the next 5 minutes time once they complete watching this video. Often being a speechless is a speechless moment for me and for people. I think let them do something. If they do take at least one action to compliment somebody, I think they have done justice to the time which sir has given to us while being absolutely busy. I know that he has got a lot of things happening and a lot of people who come for counseling and consultancy from sir in Kerala. So, sir, I think look forward to meet you in person, sir.
Sure.
And whenever you come to Pune, let us know. I think I'll be happy calling some people.
I'm likely to come maybe by this year end. I've got a friend's son getting married, and he has invited me for the reception. I hope you'll send me the invitation. I'll definitely come and meet you.
We'll certainly meet, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for being here and have a blessed.
Thanks a lot, Arun. It was wonderful talking to you. I hope it met your expectations.
Yeah, sir. I hope we met your expectations. Sir, thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.